All right, well, we're sitting here at Temple of Judah Ministries.
Temple of Judah Apostolic Ministries.
Yeah, get me right, Reverend. With Pastor Mike Joy. And tonight I want to introduce you not to Pastor Mike Joy, but we want to have a real conversation.
Yes.
Preacher talk with Pastor Devin. Real conversation with real guys. And we want to introduce you to Mike Joy tonight. But certainly in talking to Mike Joy, we're going to talk about some ministry stuff and church stuff because it's just who we are. We want to get an opportunity to meet him tonight. And one of the first things I want to ask you is, first of all, I love this downtown architectural look, man. And so I was telling James on the way, who's the camera guy, I was telling him on the way while we that I love backstories. And part of backstories for me, most people don't ask these questions of pastors. Why do you design it a certain way? Right? Everything has a story. All of our pulpits have stories. Tell me a little bit about the story of why you designed it to be this way. Man,
to be honest, man, the facility that we currently fellowship in is actually a shared space with new generation, who is senior pastor is Michael Nichols, Dr. Michael Nichols at that. I'm sorry, I'm big on honoring those that have put in the work. So senior pastor of New Generation is Dr. Michael Nichols. When we had the design for this particular layout, man, when we first moved into this building, man, we didn't have any of this aesthetics that you see right now, man. It was just a pull down screen and just a projector, man. But as we have grown in this place, man, our word I'm looking for, our flavor has actually grown in the building as well, man. I love the openness of the space, man. It gives the people a little bit more closer feel to be out in the open, man. And I can see everybody, man, with the horse shape. The horseshoe shape, it works for me, man, because I like to get down on the floor with the people, man, instead of be up on the stage, man. And the stage is more just like for the presentation, more the worship team and things of that nature, man. But I teach and preach from the floor, man. Yeah, no doubt about it, man. But it's a great space, though, man. Downtown is a growing area, man. If you come downtown, Riverside Drive, Main Street, man, you'll see all the people that's down this way, man. So we got a lot of fields to pluck with this region down here, man. I would love to stay down here, man. We are currently in the process of trying to find our own space, but this space has been very, very good to us, man.
And that actually leads me to my next question. What made you choose the downtown area? What is it about this area that? Because I feel like there's a call. People ask me why we are where we are. Why are you guys right there? Are you interested in going somewhere else? I'm like, nope. I'm not called to that. I'm called to this place right now. What's the calling? Is there a sense of calling for the downtown area?
If you really want me to be honest, and I think this is what you really want, we didn't choose the place. The place chose us. Okay. I've shared this testimony on numerous broadcasts, on numerous social media outlets, man. The pastor of this church, again, this is a shared space for us, man. So he and I did not know each other. Okay. We were Facebook friends. And at the particular point in time that TOJ, which is Temple of Judah, which when we were birthed in a very, very small space. We had the people, we just didn't have the facilities. And God is just truly amazing, man. I mean, he put somebody in our path that knew exactly what we needed and opened up the door for us, man, to be able to fellowship and to grow. So we didn't choose the space.
Space chose
the space chose us, man.
Malcolm X didn't coin that phrase. You got it right. Mike Joy.
It's the truth, man. That's the truth, man. Like I said, downtown has been good for us, man. Yeah. But I would be doing the ministry a disservice, also Dr. Michael Nichols a disservice to tell you that we chose this place. God orchestrated that from the time that he called me on the telephone to the time that we signed the paperwork on this space, man. This space chose us, man. And it was because of divine intervention that the space chose us, man, because the instructions that God gave me was he had a prepared place for prepared people. And this was a turnkey space for us, man. We walked in and we had everything that we needed to go into full operation, man. So again, man, we didn't choose the space.
How long you been?
Man, 5 years, man. Yeah, 5 years, man. 5 years and running.
So what made you start TOJ? Now, I know you're going to give me, well, God called me to this. I get all that, right? But then there's something beyond. Because the real reason, look, God calls us to certain things, right?
No doubt about it.
But we don't always stick. We stick when there's something in us that says, I feel something to keep doing. This is this burden, what I call the beautiful burden.
Okay.
What is that beautiful burden behind TOJ? Outside of God called me to this. You get that question, right?
I get it, but it's still divine intervention, man. When I say it's divine intervention, my transparency is what draws people to me. And if I'm going to be 100, I gotta be 100. This wasn't my first calling. I mean, this wasn't my first. I wouldn't have chose ministry. Let me put it like that.
Right. Anybody with sense would. You get that.
I get it now. But back then, seeing ministers and pastors in the community like they were then, you aspired to be that.
Okay.
That wasn't what I aspired to be. I was already happy with the full-time job that I had. I loved it. I'm still doing that full-time job and full-time ministry. So let me answer the question. It was a calling, man. It's still a calling because I'm still trying to fulfill the mission. What God told me was, because I took a year off when I left the last fellowship. I took an entire year off just to find myself again, man, because I lost myself in ministry, trying to just please other folks and not do the real work that God called me to do. Yeah. And one evening, man, I was driving home, man, from Nashville, man, and God told me, he says, if you don't get this church off the ground within the next 3 months, I'm going to get that vision to somebody else. And I came home that afternoon. It was in November. I talked with my wife because, again, we were doing fine as far as we working a full-time job. And I told my wife, I said, God told me if I don't get this ministry off the ground in the next 3 months, he's going to get that vision to somebody else. And I did not want to disappoint God, man. And that's just as honest as I can be. I just didn't want to disappoint God.
So what keeps you going? And because you and I both can relate to startup ministry.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
And the struggles of startup ministry.
No doubt about it.
You know, pastoring is hard. Pastoring is hard. But talk to me when you had to start up a church. So what keeps you going? Because startup ministry has its own set of difficulties.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Dealing with faithfulness and unfaithfulness.
Yes.
Dealing with having to convert people from, I'm going to give my life to Christ to I'm going to give my life to Christ.
Right.
Right. What keeps you going when there are 5 people in and when there's no other place to sit?
That's a great question. And what's funny about that is that I just had this conversation with another pastor friend of ours, man, whom we're very, very familiar with. My answer to that was, it's the small victories in between that keep me pushing. I don't really think people understand how close, when you birth a ministry out, how many ups and downs that you go through, how many emotional roller coasters that you go through, man. Yeah. And again, this is real talk with Devin Westbrook, so I'm just gonna be real with you.
Keep it real.
Just a few short days ago, I was telling my leadership staff, like, man, y'all just don't know how close y'all are to, you know what I'm saying, find another place to go worship.
That's real.
And they were
talk.
like, no, don't do that, Pastor. We need you. And it was just refreshing. I think from a leadership standpoint, and I think what most people miss is we are human, just like they're human. We get bills in the mail just like they get. We have disagreement with our significant others just as they do. But the difference between us and them is that we don't have an option not to be here.
Right.
If I get mad at my wife,
the pressure of performing.
No doubt about it. If I get mad at my wife, I still got to be here. I still got to be here.
So get that.
If I have a bad day,
you, baby.
Right. We good now. We good.
Right. We were talking about back then.
Yeah,
right,
no doubt about it. It's just the small victories, man. And God is so faithful, man, that He will drop nuggets in our path, man, just to let us know, man. And prime an example, man. I had a young man to come to our church about 3 months ago. He was an atheist. Told me face to face he just wanted to come to see why his mother and his sister was coming to the church. Men are curious by nature, right. So he wanted to come to the church, man, and just see what was going on. Now, I don't have a problem dialoguing with anybody. Right. And when he told me that he was an atheist, he didn't believe in God, he didn't see a need for God, I told him, I said, man, I appreciate your honesty. I say, I'm glad you came to see what was going on. I say, did you see anything that you like? You know, anything. Right. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, a few things. He's like, but that's all I'm going to say. So listen, this is what happened. So right after that, maybe about 2 or 3 months after that, he came back. And he said, Pastor, he said, I just want to let you know, man. He said, it was because of you that I really wanted to give God a second chance. Because I'd never ever seen a pastor like you. I always thought pastors was up here. But you like down here. Not saying that you...
I completely understand.
He just said you touchable.
He's saying you're relatable.
Right. And he said, I want to know, and this is what... And
we had this conversation on the way in.
Give me 1 second. He said to me, he said, now I would want to know the type of God that you know.
Wow.
Those are small nuggets.
So they're small nuggets, right? And we understand the term small nuggets. But those nuggets are so eternal.
No doubt about it.
They're so eternal. And while we talking, you know, and not to knock anybody's popularity or the type of income you might draw as a pastor, all that is, God bless you in that area, bless the Lord for it. But it's these type of things, the eternal ramifications that come from such a state. Yeah. When somebody meets you and says, something about you makes me inquire about God. Right. Because I've met you, I want to meet Him. Man, I don't know if you can get a higher compliment.
Man, that recharged my battery. Just a few days ago, I was ready to throw in the towel. Wow. And because of that conversation with that young man, and then as we parted ways, God said, see, that's why you do what you do.
That's why you can't quit.
Yeah, that's why you can't throw in the towel. So you throw in the towel today, you can't be waiting in victory tomorrow. So I was like, man, leave me alone. This is me. I talk to God like that. Like, leave me alone, man.
Personal conversation.
Yeah, personal conversation.
Relationship.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. So it's the small things, the small victories in between, you know, getting the next blessing, getting the next powerful testimony. Mm-hmm. It's those small things, those small victories in between. And this is what I like to tell.
Mile mark.
Yeah, and I tell people this all the time. Learn how to celebrate the small victories. Just don't wait for the big one to come along so you can have everybody cheering. Celebrate the small victories, because the small victories lead up to the big victories.
And they're necessary for your team.
No doubt about it.
I've learned that during this 4 years we've been in, I've learned that they're more. Yes, they bless us.
Yeah.
But they're for your team, because your team don't necessarily have that vision or that burning drive. Right. Nobody will ever love this like you love it.
No doubt about it.
Nobody will love it like you. They may come to love it. Yeah. They may come to love you for the vision and the visionary that you are. But nobody will eat, sleep, and drink this like you do.
No doubt about it.
And so when you have those little victories that you share with them, it reaffirms your team to say, okay, we following the right guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Real quick, shifting a little bit. What are some of the things that Mike Joy likes to do that would surprise most people? Not Pastor Mike Joy, What are some of your interests away from preaching, the pulpit? Don't tell me nothing churchy.
I love live bands, man. When I say live bands, I love live bands. It's something about a live band.
Don't they do something too?
Yeah, it does.
So my auntie just died laughing at me. We could be at church or anywhere else, but especially because she only see me in church, really. But if we go to some church, it's not. While the band is playing, I'm following every. My body just going. Bass player. Live music.
Yeah.
Ain't talking about me. Talking about you. Go ahead.
Just live bands, man. I love live bands, man. And us being in a city that has the rich history of music, there's a lot of live bands in this city, man. And I get my share of it. Most people, man, I'm just gonna be 100 with you, man. Most people, when they see me, they not shocked. It was just like, wow, you really real. Like, yeah, I like music just like y'all like music. And
what's some of your favorite artists? Not sacred. and I'm saying it so you know my thoughts on sacredness. I don't believe everything secular is of the devil. I know we talked that growing up.
Yes, no
if
doubt
it ain't church, everything secular was satanic. And I believe when God tells us to be fruitful and multiply, and He wants us to have this intimacy with our wives, it's not to Dunham McClurkin.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
You know what I mean? I don't think anybody gonna put on Kurt Franklin's
song folks that all the time
to make babies. You know, it's gonna be some
it.
Stevie Wonder, something that talks about love. God, right? Anyway, so what are some of your favorite secular artists?
Man, my palette for music, man, is wide and diverse, man. I like jazz. I like rock and roll.
Really?
I like one of my favorite bands is Bon Jovi.
How old are you?
I'm 44.
So we came up in the same generation. I tell my kids this, right? So I'm like, y'all gotta understand, man. When I was little, MTV didn't have black artists.
Right, no doubt about it.
That was the only music video station we had.
Yeah.
They didn't play black artists. So I grew up on the Eurythmics. I grew up on Bryan Adams, Talking Heads, and My House in the Middle of the Street. And I mean, Michael Jackson was the only black artist we saw.
Yeah.
And even in the time when we were growing up, he wasn't Michael Jackson yet.
Right.
When Thriller jumped off, I thought it was Jermaine. Because Michael wasn't the icon yet. He was coming, but he wasn't that cat yet.
No doubt about it.
And Run DMC, which had the rock and roll beat behind it, King of Rock.
Yeah.
Right? So I grew up on so much white music that I gravitate to. I still have an inclination to hear.
Two of my favorite artists right now, man, has to be Jill Scott and Layla Hathaway, man.
Okay.
Yeah. And because again, Layla Hathaway, I would even put her above Jill Scott at this point.
Well, I thought you were gonna say you put her over her dad, and we were gonna have to fight.
And because of her father dying, so it's
truly unsung.
Man, listen, man. Every album that man has ever cut, man, I got, bro.
Every one of them.
Every one of them, man. Vinyl.
I got them as well. That's my guy. That's my guy. I got some records in my house right now. Look, if the company come over, my wife like, turn it off. And then you save. I'm like, I'm saved when I'm listening to this too. I was saved when I was with you last night.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I think most people, man, they need to find balance.
Yeah.
I think that makes you even better as a Christian when you have balance. Most people, man, they put preachers on pedestals, man, and then when the preacher has a mishap or they stumble and fall, then it's devastation throughout the house, man. But I think, you know what I'm saying, if the people have more balance and, you know, learn how to walk hand in hand and have another avenue to where they can enjoy life. And this, again, is just my personal opinion. I ain't trying to single anybody out. If that ain't what you do, that ain't what you do. Yeah. That's your thing. But I'm talking about me and my house. I love to have balance. You know, I don't have, you know, Fred Hammond and commission playing. You know, when I'm doing Sunday stuff around, or Saturday stuff around the house, I got some Earth, Wind and Fire playing. You know what I'm saying? Got, hey, Siri, throw me some Babyface on.
The kids asleep, right?
They sleep, you know what I'm saying? They upstairs playing their video games. They got their headphones on anyway. They think that type of music is old folks' music. You know what I'm saying? They want to be little Uzi Vert and all that stuff I still can't understand right now.
I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to kill them. I really be like, I don't understand it.
That's
I
funny.
don't understand. But I've learned not to beat their heroes up, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Now, my kids are a little different. My kids are old school. They like old school stuff.
Yeah.
I think I kind of train them that way, right? So when they do hear that stuff, they act like they don't, right? They act like they don't know anything about it. So,
Right.
but yeah, I don't understand it. I be trying to.
I let them have it.
I let them have it.
Yeah, y'all can have it.
I ain't gonna lie, they dab. They gonna teach me how to dab. All that I ain't gonna lie. I be looking at them, be like, I'm gonna figure that out. So all that little news, I finally learned how to milli walk, milli rock.
You got kids, man. You need to know what they into, bro.
And it helps with balance.
Yeah.
They need to know that you're not, that pastor is not at home, right? You're still that man.
Yeah.
You're still the priest, prophet, and provider for your home. But
No doubt about it.
but they still need daddy.
Yeah.
They need to know daddy. They need to know all those things, man. Last thing. How would you make an appeal to somebody? What would make them say, Temple of Judah Apostolic Ministries
Yes,
is where I want to be? Under Mike Joy. Yes, I'm gonna call him my pastor, but I've met a real man.
Yeah.
What about him in this ministry would be good for my life?
Two things really. First, we teach, we preach the unadulterated word of God. I live what I preach, and I preach what I live. Secondly, I'm a man's man. And when I say I'm a man's man, I'm a man's man. So, and I know that's hard for a lot of men to relate to because we're not taught to be emotional.
Right.
We don't say I love you. You know what I'm saying? We be like, man, it's good, bro. But in this ministry, man, I tell everybody, I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I truly care about your well-being. I want you to be the best you that you can be so that you can be the best man for your house, the best father for your children, the best man in your community. Those are the things that I want to see the men of TOJ do. I want to see them be the very best man that they can be. And if seeing me be emotional, be an emotional leader, be the first one to say I love you, be the first one to cry. If they can see that and then be able to relate to that and say, man, that's the type of dude that I can follow because he's real and he's genuine. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to ever think that, you know, Mike Joy don't have any problems because I do. I'm most definitely going to be super transparent with you. I'm going to tell you, yeah, me and my wife, we had it out the other night. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we did to fix it.
Yeah.
I got struggles in an area with my bills on this side, but this is what I did to fix it. So it's going to be transparent, but it's going to also have a solution to it. Now, it may not always be the right solution, but it's something that steers you in the right direction. And I think, man, when folks really, not just men, but people in general, man, when they see that you're relatable, you're real about what you're doing, you're passionate about it, man. And this is what I love. And I know we say we're not going to talk about God, but this is a platform for God.
Yep.
God said what comes from the heart reaches the heart.
Right.
And when people feel that you're genuinely caring about them, it pulls them in. And the Bible describes it better than I could ever describe it. It says, with love and kindness have I drawn thee. That's my method to the madness.
I think that's why we became friends.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. You were doing some real work in the community.
In that park. We just stopped to have a real live conversation.
Real live conversation, man. And I don't think most preachers are not accessible like that, man. And I'm just going to keep it 100, man. I got to meet your armor bearer. Or I got to meet your deacon or something to that degree, man. Nah, man, you come right through them doors, man. I'll be sitting in the office or I'll be sitting in the foyer, you know what I'm saying, reading my word. You know what I'm saying? You come in, we'll speak, we'll have a conversation, man. And if this is a place for you, then please believe that you're not only going to grow spiritually, but you're going to grow physically and mentally in this place, man, because I most definitely challenge you with that word. Yeah.
Well, hit them with your handles. How can they reach you? What's the service time, address, all the ways they can connect with social media, how all that.
Man, I got a lot, Doc.
Give them all that, then we go.
Listen, you can reach us at 804 South Main Street, Memphis, Tennessee 38106. Social media platforms, we're on the Twitter. Twitter handle is MikeJoy_MOG. Instagram is MikeJoy_MOG. Facebook is just Mike Joy. No handles, no tags up under that, man. Just straight Mike Joy. Again, you can catch me every morning, 7:45 sharp. We have a live broadcast on Facebook and on Instagram at the same time. You can catch us there too. So, man, we look forward to seeing you all. You're more than welcome to come. And our motto is, we are a house of worship, word, and war. www, not the internet.
That's dope. Appreciate you, man, for your time.
I love you, brother.
And your transparency. I love you too, man.
Listen, man, this is what we do, bro. Man, I love you too, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.